lesbians forget that they're women?
Hey, hold on. This is my special intro, right? Do do do. You. Wakanda forever, baby. White Devils in the house. Let's do it, baby. Andor. There we go, baby. That's how we do it. Yeah, that's right.
Oh my God.
It is blue-eyed.
Oh my goodness. We are live. Hello, folks out there in the great land of YouTube. How are we doing tonight? MCU'S Bleeding Edge here, live Friday, 11/4, discussing and reviewing the second episode of the Star Wars Disney Plus series Andor, which we all know stars the great Diego Luna, which has a phenomenal cast. We have Fiona Shaw in it, Stellan Skarsgård as well, and it's just a really fun show so far. This second episode, I thought it was pretty fun. I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it had some interesting sequences, and definitely, had a lot of interesting flashbacks throughout the whole episode, which that's the only complaint I have with the show is that I don't feel it moves into the flashbacks properly. It just kind of goes right to it, but it doesn't give you any sign that it is. So you're kind of confused of what timeline it's on a little bit at sometimes, unless you're really paying attention. So that's my really complaint so far with it. But otherwise, I think the second episode was good. So the second episode was called That Would Be Me, which I think is an interesting title because it does fit it very well because it is kind of more, a little bit more really focused on Andor in this episode. So I think that is very accurate on the title. Of course, we have a great panel tonight. Of course, we have my wonderful co-host, Mr. Jeff S., Mr. TrueKnowledge in the house. What's up, Jeff?
Yeah, baby. What's up? Wakanda forever, baby.
Woo-hoo,
That's right.
Wakanda forever.
Can't wait. Do it.
1 week till Wakanda forever,
wait.
people.
Can't wait, baby. But you're blocking those doors, dude. You know what I'm saying? Get after it. Keep those black people safe, man.
Jeff will be at the door.
Yep, I'll do it. I'm telling you, I'm going to the theater. I'm gonna do it. Now watch out for these random vigilantes out there, just fucking randomly attacking black people, right? For watching Black Panther 2 and shit, the theater. A lot of that going on.
All right, thank you, sir. Then we also have joining us and returning from the On Some Real Shit podcast, Miss Stacy. Welcome, Stacy. How are we doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Thank you for being on the panel tonight and here to discuss Andor episode 2. All right. So basically the episode starts off with a flashback. And at first I didn't really realize that until after it started getting into the episode, actually. I think it was kind of funny. I was like watching it going, what am I watching? Did I miss something? And basically it shows young Andor and his group of people that he lives with on his original planet. Basically walking through the woods and kind of searching for stuff and seeing what's going on. And it kind of then leads into the actual episode itself, where we end up getting introduced to Bix, who is kind of like a friend of Andor. And we kind of get... We don't really get... I feel we got kind of introduced toward the first episode, but I feel in this one, it definitely focused more on her because she was more of a pivotal character in this episode. But basically it goes and we're showing Beck. She's at the store, basically the shop she works at. And she kind of seems kind of nervous. She's acting kind of a little weird. And then the other guy that works there, Tim, who is kind of like her love interest, kind of notices that too about her, and they kind of have a little small combo. And basically, he asks her if they want to go out tonight, and she's like, tomorrow would be better. Let's go out tomorrow. And he's like, okay. And she still seems kind of a little off, and he's like, go ahead, get out of here, and I'll finish closing up and everything. And we have that happen, and after she actually leaves, she's like, oh, thanks, okay, see you tomorrow. And she leaves, and then he kind of all of a sudden runs over the computer and clicks onto the computer thing or screen, whatever you want to call it. And all of a sudden it shows this like report of looking for male that's Enbarian, and reward for anybody that knows who this is or could give us information, stuff like that. And he looks at that, and he kind of is like, you can see him kind of thinking, those wheels turning in his head a little bit. And after that, so she leaves. He looks at the computer, and he sees that it's suspicious of a person that is Canary, and he basically, you could see that he wants to report it, but he hasn't officially reported it yet. Then it goes to Andor, and we get to see his hideout, and he's there, and he's talking to a new character, I believe. That I don't recall seeing Maeve in the first episode. But we're introduced to Piano Shaw, who plays Maeve, who is Andor's adoptive mother, and they basically have a conversation, and about what happened and stuff like that, and basically just kind of she's like, what happened, and he's like, oh, don't worry about it, kind of deal and stuff like that, and I got taken care of and stuff like that, and she still seems very like cautious about it, and even the android, the robot B, he basically is kind of suspicious too, and like you gotta do stuff and stuff like that. So they have that conversation, and basically Andor ends up leaving, and then after that talk, basically that's when we find. Let's see here. She asked me.
Oh man, Cyber! I told you, man. You gotta stop. You gotta stop smoking that fucking that tweak, baby. While you're doing your outlines, dude.
No, what I need to do is I need to write better so I understand my own writing. Anyways, so basically then after they have their conversation, basically Andor ends up finding out that Bix is looking for him, and he's like, oh, I gotta go see her, basically. And so that's when he actually ends up leaving, after he finds that out from B, and he ends up going off to see Bix. Finds out that and goes to see Bix. Then he goes and sees Bix. It basically goes to this like cantina that they're at, and they're there and they're talking and stuff like that. And basically she asks him, what's going on, and he explains what happened. He was, basically caught by these two guys. They, threatened him, and he fought, defended himself, and unfortunately ended up killing both of them. And, basically she's like, okay, well, you got to get yourself out of here so that they don't find you and all this kind of stuff like that. And he's like, okay, is that dealer still coming? And she's like, yeah, he'll be here tomorrow. You should be all set, and he'll be able to help you. And and then she's like, oh, you should probably get out of here. He's like, okay, and I'll leave. And at one point during that sequence, we actually see Tim, and he's there, and he's spying on Bix. And you kind of get suspicion, like, ooh, what's Bix up? Like, what's Tim up to? Like, what is he going to do? So stopping there, before we move on, all right, what was everyone's thoughts on that kind of that intro to this episode? Getting introduced to Bix, getting introduced to Maeve, basically finding out, that they now know that he's basically in trouble now that they found those two guards that were killed. Basically the introduction to Tim, that intro sequence of showing Andor when he's younger. What were you guys' thoughts on that little sequence there? Was there anything that you found particularly fun about it? Was there anything you didn't like about it? And just overall, what did you think, how that advanced the episode? Starting with you, Stacy.
I kind of felt like this is just a typical storyline. So I was kind of like, all right, I've got to wait to see. So it wasn't really, it was just, to me, it was just explaining the story and what's going to happen and where it's going to go. I feel like because I've watched so many Star Wars movies, that this is the beginning to an adventure. This is how it begins. This is the origin. So it wasn't really like exciting to me yet. The whole Tim situation, like I kind of felt for him. You know what I mean? Because I was just like, okay, he's he's turning like he's getting very suspicious and kind of jealous a little bit, and you feel for him, but basically I look at it as just Star Wars. Let's discuss the characters, and I just always reflect back to when I think Obi-Wan Kenobi or Luke Skywalker, started his journey. So I feel like that's where this is going.
Okay. And what did you think about the introduction of Maeve, Fiona Shaw's performance? What are you a fan of Fiona Shaw? Do you know who she is other than seeing her in this?
No, I'd have to think back to when I saw her, because this is like the first time that I remember seeing her. Yeah. I mean, her character, I like her character. You can tell she's going to play an important part. You just don't know when and where. I don't want to put too much spoiler into it, but you can tell she's going to have an important part now that she's kind of like detached. She might be detached from what's going on that planet.
True. Very true. Fiona Shaw, for those that out there don't know, she was actually in the Harry Potter films. She played the Dursleys, Harry Potter's aunt in the Harry Potter franchise. She also was in a great film from 1993 called Undercover Blue. She played the main bad guy in it with Dennis Quaid and Kathleen Turner. And she was actually really good in that too as well. And I was shocked to see her in this. I absolutely love her. I think she's actually a great actress. She's super fun. And so it was nice to see her playing kind of a more serious role and a little different than what I've seen her. Usually she's in more comedy roles. And I feel even in the Harry Potter, she was kind of comical a little bit. And so it was nice to see her kind of a more serious, kind of motherly role in this. And that I thought that was really interesting how they brought that and gave her that part. And I thought she did a really good job in that beginning sequence there talking with Andor. Really fun, really enjoyable. All right. Jeff, sir, your thoughts, sir. Same question.
I like the way that they're handling the mixed character. I now understand after watching episode 2 what she was doing in that tower and shit at the end of episode 1 and whatnot. She was actually like testing or whatever, or using that device or whatever that Cassian stole and wanted to sell, right? That's what she was doing. I wasn't sure. I thought she was trying to like communicate with somebody, like, with a safe channel or something, right? Like some rebel shit or whatever. No. Clearly, I mean, in the trailer, she looks like she's in some scenes and whatnot where it comes off as if she's valuable or important, right? At some point in the series. At that point, I'm guessing that down the road, I mean, I haven't gone ahead. She's gonna be, if anything, gonna be some sort of part of the revolution, the rebels, right? In some way. I don't know how affiliated she's gonna be, or where she's gonna be at, or her attitude's gonna be, but I think she's probably gonna be more passionate about it than Cassian Andor is, right? She kind of gives you that vibe already that she'd be the type to fight the Empire and shit, right? So I mean, I think she's been great so far in the 2 episodes, and the little bit that she said, she has had a lot of lines, but the little bit she said, I thought that she's been a really solid presence, right? Like very quiet, like nothing flashy, but steady, right? A good addition, kind of so far. And certainly nothing to bitch about, or like nothing, oh shit, like I mean, hey, at the end of the day, folks, Eddie's better than She-Hulk, baby, right? So there you go. It's that simple. Anything is a 10 compared to She-Hulk. Right, Stacey?
Right. I got caught up in your drink that you were mixing there.
I'm telling you. I'm working on my list right now of like the 10 historical calamities and shit that all, when it boils down to it, through leaked documents from the FBI, are responsible by She-Hulk. It's She-Hulk's fault. Right? Seriously. This shit's been going on for hundreds of years.
Yes, global warming.
Yep. Seriously. The She-Hulk Disney Plus series has been a plague to society and the human race. So, anyways, either way, it's all right though. It's okay, folks. I'll be okay. Disney Plus series will be okay, but I'll be okay. And I'll tell you right now, all those black folks in the movie theater and whatnot, when I'm there blocking the doors and shit, they'll be okay too. Watching Black Panther, because I'll be there, baby. Right? I got your back. So
right.
Anyway.
So what else? What did you think about that beginning intro there? The dream sequence, or like the flashback, the introduction to Bix and Tim, and that scene at the cantina with Bix and Andor, and then Maeve and Andor before he goes see Bix. What were your thoughts on that opening sequences?
I'd like it better if in the flashback scenes there were captions or subtitles, which I don't know if it's because I don't have the options on or something like that. But whenever I watch the episodes, I don't know what the hell they're saying, right? And I guess they're speaking what do you call it? Kanari, right? Original Kanari or whatever. And at that point, I don't know what the hell they're saying. I don't understand why they're all only children, why they're no adults, right? They've explained that. And I'm not really sure what the hell their premise is, like what their goal is or whatever, or objective is and shit out in the woods and whatnot. So I'm not saying it's bad or it's a detriment to it's been a detriment to the series or to episode 2 at all. I guess sort of connecting and vibing off of you, Cyber. I just don't yet grasp, I guess, right? Where they're going with that, what we're supposed to get out of it, or what it connects to, or we'll see, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm optimistic. You never know. They might flush it out down the road in the series and whatnot, and it all might come together, right? So we'll see. But at this point right now, they're just not doing much for me in these episodes at all. That's the one part of the episodes that's not getting me going at all. I'm just kind of everything else is great, but legitimately, all the other stuff was great. But no, so as far as Tim, I just think it's great to see another solid character and actor in the series, right? We know we're getting Stellan Skarsgård, down the road. We're going to get Forrest Whitaker, right? It's nice to know that you have people, actors and actresses like that playing characters down the road in the series. It's nice to have something to look forward to, I think that's cool that they decided to go in that direction and not throw them right in the fray from jump, and just focus on Cassian and his sort of inner circle, right, on Ferris or whatever, his little family unit and shit, I guess, that he works with or whatever. Is Cassian? I mean, I don't know if he actually does work at all ever. I mean, or whatever, or if he's just a smuggler and shit. But is he essentially supposed to be like a mechanic, like Bix?
He might be. I don't know. They really haven't explained exactly what he does. Just it's kind of assumption. It's assumption that he's a smuggler. That's just the vibe he gives.
Don't they imply by where his geographical location at times and whatnot in the episodes, and by his friends talking to him that he does work there in some way or something?
Not that I've noticed.
Okay. You're right. You never know. Maybe that's what I was saying. There is that spy espionage angle going on too, right? In this, coming off of Rogue One, to where maybe he uses that as a cover, right? In a way. You never know. Maybe that's why that one mechanic or whatever was so pissed off at him in episode 1. It was get the hell out of here, don't come back, right? So at the end of the day, I mean, basically, I felt if anything, just keep it, light. Having another, solid character that brought gravity, right, to a scene right from jump, and carried herself very well. She added a lot of depth and tangibility and seriousness, right? And almost maturity to the episode and to the scene from jump. I felt like she was that solid. So I'm not trying to overdo it, right? But she was good. She was good addition. The fact that she actually kind of talks shit to Cassian and whatnot and everything, and gets an attitude with him and all that. I enjoyed that dialogue and them kind of revealing some information, and telling us some of the backstory and whatnot. So yeah, it was good.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So, moving on from that little sequence, then after we have noticed Tim in the background, then it cuts to him going to a like phone machine and basically reporting, who this Ikarian man is who happens to be Andor. And so after he gets on the phone and puts all the information and stuff like that, then it actually goes back to Karn, who we were introduced to in the first episode, which we had that great sequence there where Karn was like, saying things to the other gentleman, or kind of like, he's like making pieces and sense of things, but like the other guy is kind of like, oh, just you stay in your lane type of deal. Where Karn now is kind of like the in charge guy, and so after that information pops up to that whatever they are, that eco prime authority people, basically he's looking at the information and noticing who it is, and it's kind of giving us kind of like a silhouette, a little bit of Cassian's face and stuff like that. And he's like, Cassian Andor, and basically they're like looking at it and kind of reviewing it and stuff like that, and they kind of have conversations with each other and like, oh, this is interesting that it's this guy. Really doesn't say where he's from, and kind of what's going on, and that's kind of interesting. And basically they're kind of like talking between each other and stuff like that, which is really interesting. What is that sound in the background?
Sounds like a TV.
Yeah. Is that on your side?
I'm telling you, it's She-Hulk. The She-Hulk Disney Plus series. I blame that. I blame She-Hulk.
I have no TV. I have my kids. That's a TV.
Yeah,
maybe. Okay. That makes more sense now. Okay. It sounds like kids talking, so.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just making sure. I'm hearing people.
I guess my microphone's really good.
All right. So we have that sequence there. And basically, like I said, they talk about the stuff. Karn, basically says that, and they start talking about a plan to arrest Cassian. Then it goes back to Bix, and all of a sudden she shows back up at Tim's house. This is like shortly after he went and talked to, went to the phone machine and, gave the information about Cassian. And she shows up and he's like, oh, it's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I had some free time, thought I'd stop by. And, they kind of like, she kind of comes in and is like, is it all right if I come in? He's like, okay, yeah. And then she kind of kisses him, and then she kind of leads herself into the bedroom and starts to unclothe. And then it cuts from that. And so I think pretty much we know what was happening there. Another cue for Jeff there, what he did for 4 times. And so
he baked cake.
I think she was kind of like, like, oh, what do I need to get him on my side type of deal kind of going on there. And so after that, then, like I said, then it goes back to the Primor office where Karn is, and Karn and Mosk pops up, and they start talking and hashing out more about this Cassian character and kind of what they're going to do as well. We have a great discussion between them. Mosk kind of explains, kind of what he's done, what his role has been, and kind of like how they do things. And Karn's kind of like, okay, that's interesting, and kind of explaining how he wants to do things and stuff like that. And they have this kind of elaborate conversation, and you kind of get a nice view of kind of their headquarters there and kind of how that works and stuff like. It looks very imperial. It looks very much like the Empire, and you kind of get that feeling that these are like Empire people. And so after they discuss this and kind of get a even more of a premeditation of what they're going to doing, at the office, stuff like that, to capture Cassian and stuff like that. Then we go back to Andor again, and he's at his hideout place, and we see him kind of like gathering things and stuff like that. And then he goes into like this drawer thing, and he pulls out this box thing, which we briefly saw this box, like Jeff mentioned earlier in the end of the last episode. and he kind of puts it in a handkerchief and like stick it into his backpack, and that's when B pops up, and they kind of have a brief conversation, and basically kind of like he's getting ready to leave and stuff like that. And we'll get to the B thing in a second here. But going on from that, the whole conversation with Karn and Mosk, Tim telling who Cassian is, to Bex ended up at Tim's house, and just kind of that whole sequence there. Let's get everyone's thoughts on this whole section. Was there anything you found interesting about it? Was there anything you disliked about it? What were your guys' thoughts on? Did you think it was good storytelling? Did you think it helped the story go along? And just what was your overall thoughts on the different characters and kind of what they were bringing to the table? Starting with you, Stacy, please. Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't want my kids to interrupt you. No, I feel like every character always brings something to the other character. Passion, like, just emotion wise. Tim has to be a very important part of Maeve's life, or not Maeve. What's her name? Bix. I feel like that's an every single character is important, down to the robot, down to his adopted mom. Everybody is important because they help to grow the character more. And I feel like all those flashbacks that everybody's pretty confused about, I don't know why everybody's confused about. I'm the only one that probably understands flashbacks, because I feel like when people write stories, just because their stories seem to always be kind of cookie cutter, there's always like an explanation by going back in time. Well, this is why he is who he is. This is why he has an issue with the the empire. This is why, he's out there looking for his sister, because his sister was missing at one point in time. So I feel like it's telling the story before the action. Like right now, I think we're probably, well, me personally, I feel like I'm a little bored, just because I kind of get what they're doing. I get it. It is leading up to something a little bit more exciting. I hope it gets a little bit more exciting. I mean, it does a little bit. So I'm just hoping that it picks up.
Awesome. And what was your thoughts when he grabbed the object? Were you familiar with the object? Did you remember for the first episode? What were your thoughts on him grabbing that object as kind of like how he did it?
The square object?
Correct.
Wow. I'm not.
Như vậy thì
Was that the object?
No.
Damn fool.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think I might have missed that part when he grabbed it and what the importance of it is. I feel like it's gonna carry its weight throughout the whole show, but I missed that part.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes. It was basically in that sequence where it shows him gathering stuff to get ready to leave at his house, out of his hideout that he's at, where he was introduced to Maeve earlier. And at one point, he like opens like a drawer thing and goes in and grabs the object that's square. So yeah, I was just curious. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. But okay, that's understandable.
Oh, okay. Wasn't that the object that he stole off the plane when he was a kid?
Eventually, yeah, we find that out. Yes. But at this point, we haven't found that out. But yes, that is an object that he did get. It's
See,
okay.
I told you that's why I shouldn't jump ahead.
But anyways, yes, yeah, that object. I just thought, like, do you feel there's a significance in how they presented that in that sequence, And do you think it was kind of like, saying, oh, this object's going to be something of importance later on?
Every object, especially when they hone in on the character, like when you're directing something or producing something, and then you start to take account of everything, especially when it's Marvel, when you focus on the characters, and then it happened to be just a single object, like when somebody reaches into the drawer and they show what they're picking up, and it could be like, okay, he's piling up his stuff, but they don't show what they're piling, but at the end they show that particular object. It's going to lead up to something important, and it might not make its way towards the end, but it's a significant part, and that's what they're trying to do, is let the watchers um, stay focused on certain things that they might have missed, like I did. I mean, I've seen it, but I didn't see when he grabbed it out of the drawer.
Awesome. Thank you. I definitely think that object is, as we've seen later on, we'll see a little bit more about it. But yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a great little trinket of value, especially in a coming episode as we speak. All right, thank you, Stacy. Jeff, sir, same question, sir. Thoughts on that little section of the episode? Once again, just kind of reiterating it. Basically, Bix go into Tim's house. Tim reporting Andor. Karn and Moss sequence, and Karn just like kind of his solo entrance again into this episode, and leading up to that sequence where it shows Andor grabbing the box. What were your thoughts all on that, sir?
I want to be very clear. I confused characters and scenes earlier. I think when you first asked me the first question, I was talking in depthly not about Tim, but Cassian's mom. I don't know. That's what I was talking about. I just want to point out I did enjoy Tim from Jump. I thought he was all right, good addition too. But when I was going on and on a minute ago, finishing my thoughts and whatnot, I was really leaning heavily towards Cassie's mom. I was, and I just got confused for a minute. But as far as also, is this the strip where you see like Kanari strip mine, and it almost looks like a pyramid getting built or some shit? It's like very epic and massive. It almost looks it's like a mountainside that's carved out. Was that right in the beginning, or was that in the part that you're asking me about?
That was at the beginning part. That was the beginning section. After that, that was after that flashback sequence with the kids going through the forest.
I just simply wanted to mention that was epic. It looked really good. It did. For like a very simple image, I really wasn't sure what was going on, but it looked really cool. It did. It looked really, really clear, real. Like authentic and like big. Right, like massive, so I liked it. Now, I guess, I'm looking now, and I guess that was like strip mining of some kind, right? In the future. But no, as far as Tim goes, and again, this I may be going back a little bit and whatnot, but like him and Bix, that didn't really surprise me. But I do want to point out that they handled that very well in the episode. They didn't overdo it, right? It wasn't too much. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't boring. It wasn't like overdone or stupid. They did it well. It was all right, right? It was kind of cordial, and there wasn't much going on and quick, but effective, right? I think, I don't know for a fact, but I want to believe they're going to flush out at some point. I don't think there's going to be like a love triangle type deal through the series or anything like that with Cassian. But I do think that Cassian does care about her from a time when, like, I don't know, a long time ago, probably years ago, like at one point they were together, probably. Maybe loosely, who knows? I don't think they were married or anything and whatnot. But they definitely had a relationship. So, and now as far as the device, I'll be honest with you, Cyber, I'm stumped with that too. I am. I'm with Stacy. I literally cannot remember what the hell it was. or what it was for, or what it did. And I'm not gonna bullshit. I mean, I can't conjure up anything. Throw some shit out there. That's gonna work. Not gonna work. So, what the hell is it? Is it tech?
I mean, yeah, it is tech. It's of significance. And as this episodes will go on, we'll learn a little bit more about it. Definitely somebody in a future episode is very interested in the device because it does do something. But we don't know. We haven't found out yet in this episode.
Now, I did like seeing Cyril Karn again. Now that I know that was in this part. I think that again, he was good in the episode too, very effective, right?
No, he was in this part. He was in this part.
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was. And again, he was very consistent again. Low key, right? He's not overdoing it. Nothing's too much, almost, right? I think the acting has been very good so far. It has been. And the I don't think the story and the writing is like anything earth shattering, right? But it's good. It's solid, right? It's not a joke. You know what I mean? Like you could tell. And look, we've seen bad writing recently. I'm not gonna talk about that. I don't want to make anybody experience any PTSD or anything like that, whatnot, right? Or trauma. So we're not gonna talk about that. But basically, I just want to point out that the Karn character, I think, has a lot of upside and potential. To kind of sort of almost like, I guess, quasi evolve across the span of the season, right? And sort of maybe, I don't know, not evolve, but maybe build up his desire for more power, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, become more driven and motivated, right? To do maybe whatever he has to do, sort of. Get more unethical and whatnot if he has to get up to, to rise. With the Empire and whatnot, gain more status, at that point, have more responsibility, whatever. He's a company man, kind of, and he's an interesting character to me because he's not simple. He's not one-sided. He's multifaceted. He has other things going on in his head. He's not just like, he's not a drone, I'm not saying that he's like an anti-hero or some shit. I don't think personally he's a very good guy. I don't get that vibe at all. But I don't think that he's like, some sick, like freak torture type dude or whatever either. I don't get that vibe. I think he's more efficient and like logical about things. But no, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's cool to see the scene with Linus Mosk was pretty cool too. Was that in there? I think. Yep, that was good. I like it. Yep, that was a great little scene. It brought a lot to the episode.
I agree. I think that sequence was really done well. I thought it was fun. I thought getting to learn a little bit more about Mosk himself and kind of the relationship him and Karn have, I think it works out really well and kind of shows how devious they really are. I think that was really great little.
I like to see different opinions too, different like levels of dedication and all that, and loyalty, right, and reasons, right, for wanting to be a part of the Empire. I like that.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so going from that, once again we go back to another flashback sequence. Basically, this sequence, we see the kids, they're traveling more, looking through the jungle more, and they end up finding wreckage as they are searching. And we see them kind of come across some wreckage and looking at it and going, what is this stuff? And then after that, it basically pops back to current times. And then we get our first sighting of Stellan Skarsgård. And Stellan Skarsgård is basically, I'm calling him the dealer right now because I can't remember what they called him, but that's what I remember him being considered, the dealer. So I'm calling him the dealer at this point, but he becomes the dealer. And so then after that, then we go back to Bix and Tim. Basically, they're waking up from their night of frivolity, whatever you want to call it. She basically is getting out of bed. He's already out of bed, kind of staring at her. And she's getting up and she starts to get dressed and stuff like that. And basically they kind of have like a brief conversation like, oh, let's do this. And it's like, okay. And so then that's when it goes back to Cassian. And basically he's looking for comms to help him out with, going to see the dealer and stuff like that. In case something happens, he's got a comm to be able to contact them in order to be able to do that. And that's when B pops up, the android or the robot. That's very similar to kind of like R2D2 and C3PO and stuff like that, which we mentioned this in the first episode. He has a very clear, normal voice. It's not very robotic sounding. It sounds very much like a normal voice, which I find very interesting. And it'll be interesting to see it down the line if there's something special about this android or droid, and if there's something different than him than other droids around. And so he basically, he's like, oh, I got to finally come so I can be able to contact you guys. And he's like, oh, but he's like, well, I really don't like this, this plan. And I understand. And basically Andor's like, well, you need to go back to see Maeve and get back before she notices you're missing, so that, you're there for her. So as that kind of pans back, then it goes back to Maeve, and we see her, and she's looking for B, and she's like, B, where are you, B, and stuff like that. And as she's searching around looking for B, that's when she comes across a piece of weaponry of Andor's, and she kind of looks at it, and she's like, kind of reminiscing and stuff like that, thinking about back in the times. And that she thinks it looks very familiar and something that she has seen in the past. And then we go to another flashback, and this time we back to the kids, and they're at a wreckage. They find basically, it looks like a crashed, Empire ship. That's what it looks like to me. And there's one of the openings. There's a person that has basically it looks like they're unconscious and falling outside of the entrance, and one of the older kids goes down and checks it out, and as she's checking it out, that's when another one comes in out of nowhere and starts shooting at them, shoots her, and then starts shooting at the kids up in the thing, and they start like throwing darts at him, and they're spitting out their darts and stuff like that, and they keep hitting him with darts, and he keeps shooting, and then finally he kind of like gets hit with enough darts, and he either, I don't know if it kills him or he passes out, but he basically gets knocked out. And so then the kids all run down to their friend to see what's up. And basically they find out that she's basically dead from being shot by the guy. And so after that sequence happens and they basically find out, it pans back again. And we go back to Andor. And he goes to see someone he knows at this I think it's that same place he went to in the first episode where you were talking about, Jeff, about the guy that says, you're not allowed here anymore, and like the mechanic thing or whatever. And he goes there and he's like, the guy's like, oh, I haven't seen you around here in a while. And he's like, yeah, I've been kind of busy, and basically kind of hashes out with him to be able to get a transport to get out of there. And that, he's going to have a certain amount of credits and stuff like that he can provide to him to be able to have a transport to get out of there. And basically they agree on an amount, and Andor leaves. And then all of a sudden we go back to Karn, him and all his officers and stuff like that. And basically he's giving them kind of like the pre-prep talk to going to get Cassian to do this takedown. And basically he's like, revving them up, getting them ready and telling them what's going to happen and all this kind of stuff. And at one point, Mosk is like, oh, you did a good job there, sir. And like that, I think they'll be ready and we'll be able to do this properly, be able to figure out and stop and capture, Cassian Andor. So then after that, and they officially fully have their plan. That's when we head back to seeing Stellan Skarsgård, and he's on some sort of transport. Basically, after we saw him coming to Earth and landing in a spaceship, he's on some sort of transport, and there's another passenger all of a sudden like gabbing his ear off, and we have no idea. I don't recall exactly. He was like kind of mumbling all these different kind of things, and I wasn't sure like exactly what he was talking about. But basically, he was like having this conversation with Stellan Skarsgård's character, and we see Stellan Skarsgård, and he's kind of looking off into the distance, and you see him looking down at the city and stuff, which is where basically this show is taking place. And then that's when all of a sudden it goes back and shows Andor, and he's walking through that city, and kind of like the blasts and stuff are happening and stuff like that, and that's how it ends. So the last quarter of this episode, which this was actually a pretty short episode, it was only 32 minutes, I believe. So it was a shorter of the episodes so far for Andor, I feel. I think the first one was like 45 minutes, I believe, or 42. So this one was a little bit shorter. But what was your guys' thoughts on the conclusion of this episode? And what was your idea? What are your guys' feelings and ideas behind how it basically climaxes? Like getting introduced to Stalin, getting kind of more information out of Bix and Tim and what happens to Tim. Because we have that sequence there when Karn and stuff shows up to basically look for, for Cassian, and they end up shooting and killing Tim. And what were you guys' thoughts on kind of how that concluded, how we get that brief kind of new other glimpse of Stellan, and then all of a sudden it kind of shows Andor, then it ends. I felt it was a very abrupt ending. So what were you guys' thoughts on that last conclusion of this episode? Is there anything that you found particularly smart or fun or enjoyable, or anything about it that you didn't care for? Starting with you, Stacy. Okay, Jar Jar.
I guess, I mean, for me, I guess the flashbacks always tell an important part in there, and it shows the impact of losing a very important character. So when the little girl, well, I call her little girl, but at this point in time, she's probably the only true, I guess, motherly figure that they have, due to the fact that, all the parents were killed in that accident or whatever. So I guess when he felt like she pulled him in as a warrior, she's like, yeah, you can go too. I felt like that was his first experience with becoming, and then learning about these Imperial people, and who are they and why did they kill just a little girl out of nowhere. And that opened up a curiosity in him as a kid. So I understand the, even though we don't understand what language they're speaking, we do understand that there is feelings involved in being a child. The fact that he left his sister behind to go find out who these people are. And now one of his, almost, I want to say, mentor has just died right in front of him. So that kind of explains like his motivation. It's going to be his motivation. It's always been his motivation, along with his sister. That's the character growing. And then when you fast forward into his life and his, he's probably been so by the book, do what you're told, but then, there's a rebel side to him. This is where it's catapulting him into becoming that rebel. This is what I need to do. This is my role. And so that this is the making of Andor. This is how Andor is bringing his true self to the whole Star Wars, because everybody, I feel like, in this whole Star Wars thing is a hero. It wasn't just Luke Skywalker. It wasn't just Leia. It was Andor. It was Han Solo. It was everybody, all these characters that were heroes in this, like a little Star Wars Avenger type of scenario going on. But I would say, I mean, I feel like Tim's character was so I mean, I could feel his jealousy, and I understood it, but man, when they kill off like one of the most important characters, like I felt that. Like I was just like when he was just laying there, I just kept staring at it. I was like, oh no, like, I mean, some people were probably like he deserved it, but in all actuality, you do what you want to do for your you do what you need to do for your love interest. And that's it.
Awesome, thank you. And just to reiterate, I crossed episodes there a little bit with Tim. I'm very sorry, people out there. That did not happen in episode 2, and that actually happens further down in an episode, which I totally forgot. But yeah, I don't know why I mentioned that, but it was fresh in my mind. But anyways,
oh my goodness! And I was sitting here feeling bad.
Yeah, gotta keep us on our toes.
Gotta keep us on our toes there, folks.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Stacy. You did a great job there. Jeff, your thoughts on the conclusion of this episode, sir?
I mean, honestly, I guess maybe a little bit as in opposition, which is always good. Different opinion than Stacy. Tim's death didn't really do much for me or whatever. I didn't really feel like it was all that important or, going to be all that impactful overall in terms of the scope, series, and whatnot. Right? Like it is what it is. I mean, they had Cassian kill those 2 guards in like the first 5 minutes of the episode or the first episode, right? So I mean, at that point, I kind of figured more people were going to get killed, right? Especially when they showed Cassian shoot that 1 guard straight up right in the head. You know what I mean? Like, so at that point, I like the tone, right, of the whole episode. I do. Episode 2. I like the tone of episode 1. I do. I'm not a big Star Wars person, but in my experience, this tone and energy is different than your typical Star Wars fare. It is, right? It is. It's totally different. It reminds me, in a way, almost of like a quasi Captain America Winter Soldier vibe, in a way, right? In a way, like almost like Black Widow, right? That kind of vibe. That kind of shield, espionage, spy type, feel in a way, right? And I think eventually they're going to start to bring in and start to lay down the elements of revolution, right, and whatnot. They're going to slowly work that in. I don't think it's going to be. I think this thing is going to be. I think there's going to be a slow burn. I do, right? Where they're going to, if anything, expand the story, right? You know what I mean, and make connections and relationships between characters and whatnot bigger, or deeper. Or give us new characters over the series, right? As we go, to where, there's going to be a lot going on, in these episodes that aren't that long when it boils down to it. They're pretty compact. There's a lot going on for pretty suppositional episodes. There's a lot going on, right? And honestly, if anything, I think that again, the ending was not anything that it didn't do anything for me that was any different than anything else through the episode, right? But it was good. It was solid, right? It ended the episode well. It wasn't a fall off, and I felt like everything flowed well. It made sense, right? It was a logical episode. It started logically, it ended logically. It makes sense, At that point, what more can you ask? Good cast, and you're right. The droid is really cool. He almost has like a legit personality and shit.
Totally, I agree. I think that B is a interesting droid, and it's gonna be interesting to see what else he produces and brings to the series. I think that so far, even in just the first 2 episodes, he's been so much fun. I've always enjoyed the droids the most in Star Wars. I've always found those characters the funniest and fun. And I feel like out of all the droids I've seen, not excluding the Rogue One character, that one I think is one of my all-time favorite ones. But B is becoming one of my favorites so far because of just how different he is compared to the previous ones I've seen. So I think B has a lot to him that more than meets the eye too as well. So I'm really really interested in seeing where he goes and just what else he brings to the franchise.
Cyber, you never know, too. You know what? He could not even be a actual model that came out from like a company. He could be like a private deal that maybe Cassian or somebody else actually kind of upgraded on their own, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just kind of like how C-3PO was created by Anakin. So yeah, I can totally see that happening. So it'll be interesting to see just if we get like kind of an origin of who B is. It'll be interesting.
There's
So,
a loose. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but there is in the Star Wars universe one thing that is really cool and unique is that it is so big, right? That there is not like an overarching commercialism. You know what I'm saying? Where everything comes from companies or corporations, right, and everything and whatnot. There is a lot of sort of like almost underground black market, right? Like do it yourself, type shit going down. With the tech, with the droids, right? With the ships, all of it.
Most definitely. All right. So to round this episode off, let's give our final impressions and our rating. Starting with you, Stacy, what would you give this episode of Andor for a rating between 1 and 10?
I'd give it a 6.
Okay. Well, and why would you give it a 6?
Right now it's pretty basic. It's very generic. It's cookie cutter, and I'm waiting for something different. Something that is just outside the box.
Penis.
More penises. Yes. Definitely more penises.
All right, you heard that, folks. You heard that from Stacy. More penises, people. All right, 6. Thank you. All right, I would give it a solid 7 for this episode. Simply for the fact of Fiona Shaw and B, and the introduction to Stellan Skarsgård, I give it a 7 because of that. Otherwise, yeah, I agree with Stacy. It's very cookie cutter, very simplistic. And really not much action in this episode. So, yeah, I would definitely give it a 7. All right, Jeff, your rating, sir.
I automatically give a rating above a 7, no matter what. Stellan Skarsgård, no matter what. It doesn't matter. If Stellan Skarsgård is in it for 13 seconds, right, it's above a 7. There you go. So, by that point, right, rounding up from Stellan Skarsgård being in the episode, I'm going to go up to a 7.75.
Ooh.
Yep, there you go.
7.75, people. You heard that. Ooh,
I agree.
If there were one penis, it'd be an 8.
Okay. All right, awesome. That's great to know. All right, guys. So that is Andor episode 2. So to move on from Andor, we thought we'd go and review real quickly for you guys the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special trailer for you guys, just to get you back to some Marvelness, to close out this show, people. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Who here has seen the trailer already? Has anybody seen the trailer here already? Stacy or Jeff, have you seen it already? You have? Okay.
The trailer for what? I'm sorry?
For the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special?
No.
No, you have not seen it. Okay, so 2 of us have seen it and 1 of us has not. All right, awesome. All right.
Can I see it?
We're going to play it. We're going to play it. We're going to play it, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it.
Oh, I'm excited. Let's do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, so for those out there that aren't familiar with it, basically, just like Werewolf by Night, Disney Plus is putting out another special presentation in November this month. And this one is Christmas related and is the Guardians of the Galaxies. So we're getting Star-Lord, Mantis, Drax, Nebula, all the great characters that we're used to. Grown up Groot, finally, we're getting to see Groot grown up again. And basically it's this little holiday special that they put together with all the great Guardians of the Galaxy characters. And it's just really fantastic. So once Sir Jeffrey has that, we will play that.
What happened at Thanksgiving?
I don't know. Is it gone?
I don't think it's gone, but yeah, basically from November 1st through December 25th, it's Christmas all the way, people. Thanksgiving isn't, I guess, is not considered very holiday much very much. I mean, people do still get together for turkey and stuff, but at commercial wise, Thanksgiving really has never been anything except for I think the one Charlie Brown Thanksgiving episode. Really,
Yeah, the
I
pumpkin
was
patch.
sure if maybe the that person on TikTok actually had told us that we had the white devils that we had to give Thanksgiving to Wakanda, right? I didn't know, so I didn't know.
So that's what happened to Thanksgiving.
Yep, yeah, we did give it to Wakanda.
I just saw on the calendar that right now on Earth, it's almost Christmas time.
We don't have time for trivialities like Christmas.
But Peter's so sad about Gamora being gone. Maybe if we go to Earth for a really wonderful Christmas gift, it would make him happy. Something special he will never forget.
What about someone special?
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
We're looking for the legendary Kevin Bacon.
I just said that, Drax.
But your voice is small and mousy. I think maybe he didn't hear you. You're coming with us as a Christmas present. I'm Groot.
yeah, people, yeah.
Kevin Bacon.
The inclusion of Kevin Bacon in this is absolutely hilarious, especially if you are familiar with the Guardians of the Galaxy films. He's always referring to 80s icons, 80 things, and Kevin Bacon is the ultimate 80s icon if you think about it. 6 degrees to Kevin Bacon, everything's connected through Kevin Bacon and stuff like that. So I think that's hilarious that they decided to have him in this. I absolutely think that's fantastic. And then basically deciding, oh, we're going to go kidnap him for a present for Star-Lord is absolutely freaking hilarious, I think. I think visually it's very beautiful. It was done really well. It looks like it's going to be super fun. I love that we're getting more of Cosmo the dog, who is also a part of the Marvel Universe. So that'll be interesting to see how much he is involved in the episode. I love that they keep bringing back Kraglin. I love that they keep giving him more time. It's absolutely awesome because I think Kraglin is such a great character, especially now with Yondu dying in Guardians Volume 2. Having Kraglin there still kind of keeps Yondu there a little bit because of him being a part of his group and stuff like that. So I love that they keep him around. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be funny to see just what this brings and what, happens in it. But it looks so freaking fun and just so enjoyable. What were you guys' thoughts? Stacy, what did you think about it? What are you looking forward to in it?
Oh, the only thing that's when something just gets stuck in your head and you're just like so focused on it, and then Kevin Bacon shows up and then you're like, oh, okay, that's a big surprise. No, it was the fact that Zamora's not in this one. What's the timeline on this? What am I missing? That's what I'm confused. Wasn't she back?
Gamora's out doing her own thing.
Yeah, so Endgame. This is supposed to be after Endgame. I don't know how many years it's supposed to be after Endgame, or how long it's supposed to be after Endgame. They didn't say yet. I'm sure we'll find out. Mm-hmm. But the Gamora that we saw in Endgame was the Gamora from 2014 that is still not. Isn't in love with Quill yet because that hasn't happened. This is a different Gamora. So we still don't know if she got blipped or not. We don't know what happened to her. So that I feel we're going to find out in Guardians Volume 3, of course. We'll find that out. I'm not sure if she makes an appearance in this. But Gamora I don't feel she's going to be a part of this because they're leaving that for Guardians Volume 3. So I think they'll reference her and stuff, but we won't actually see the actress. But yeah, Star-Lord's still upset as we saw that in Thor: Love and Thunder. We saw at the very end of Endgame. He's still pining for her because he was her love, and so I'm sure we'll see more about that. I'm sure they'll reference it a little bit in this too. But yeah, Gamora's supposedly not supposed to be in this
because she's blipped.
No, because we don't know where she is. We don't know where she is. We don't know what she is. And we don't know what happened to her because they leave that. They don't give us an answer at the end of Endgame.
Okay, I got to go back and watch it.
Yeah, those Marxist black people told her she couldn't be in the special. She had to give her ticket to somebody else.
She's black.
Oh my god! Yeah,
is she green? I thought she was She-Hulk's cousin.
Oh, that makes sense.
Was there anything else? Any other thoughts on the trailer, Stacy?
I love the fact that they put those two. I forgot their names. I am so bad with names, so forgive me, everyone. But I love the fact that they put those two on the mission to go find Kevin Bacon. I mean, it's like Tweedledee and Tweedle, like Mr. Obvious, and just says whatever comes to his mind. That is hilarious, and I just can't wait to. Actually, I want to even go see the trailer. Look at the trailer again. Is that on Disney Plus?
It's gonna be on Disney Plus. The trailer you'll find on YouTube.
Oh, okay. No, I'm ready for it. The other thing was, is Groot's head small? Did I just see a small Groot's head?
He looked different. I don't know if that's like his new mature form or if that's a costume. Like he's like in a costume because in the trailer, if you watch it closely enough, you kind of it looks like he's wearing something that's different than what he normally looks like. So I think that's actually a costume he's wearing, and that it's not fully showing his real body.
I wonder if they incorporate like a little bit of Halloween. Like a little bit of Halloween going through the holiday type of thing.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. So I think those are the things that stand out. And I don't know if you guys ever seen the little mini series.
Groot.
Basically of Groot.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen those little mini
I watched
ones?
them. Yeah.
Yeah, those are cute. So that's why I was like, wow, he's already that big already.
Yeah, the shorts of him being little would have been prior to Endgame, because in Endgame he's a teenager. So that was things that happened like between Guardians Volume 2 and Endgame. So that was kind of like storyline of him between that time frame.
Okay. See, these are the flashbacks I get confused about because I'm like watching them at different times.
Yeah. But yeah, totally. Just like with Star Wars, like I was saying that I wish they would just like mention, oh, this is supposed to be. I mean, even just a little subtitle, I would feel would make it more understandable. Like, oh, this is supposed to be such and such year or something like that. I think that would make it easier than just going right into it. But yeah. I totally get that. That happens a lot, I feel. All right. Sir Jeffrey, your thoughts on the trailer, sir?
It's heartwarming. It is. It's very heartwarming. It really is. Hats off to Marvel Studios, for totally destroying my whole premise of like, oh my god, I'm not gonna waste my time with that fucking Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas bullshit, whatnot. Fuck that weak ass crap. I don't watch Christmas specials and shit. This is gonna be a joke, right? It's not even gonna be like good. It's not even gonna be like serious or whatever, whatnot. Like, I don't know what I was thinking with that shit. Obviously, I was stupid. I was not thinking straight. It's very possible that I was potentially starting to already be affected by the She-Hulk Disney Plus series before the series started, right? Like, maybe when I saw the trailer for the first time, right, that day, that morning, and that fucked me up, so I wasn't thinking straight. But anyways, no, it's heartwarming. It's great. You know, it's like it almost reminds me of like the feeling of seeing like the original Avengers. You know, the original 6, maybe. You know, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? They've been around for a minute. You know, we love them. You know, they're a team, they're a family and shit. So it's just dope to see them in general. You know, and we know we're losing them. You know what I'm saying? So that shit, you know, so that makes it even more intense and like more, you know, you're more into it. You're more personally connected, right? It's more appealing to you. It's more impactful and magnified. You know what I'm saying? So then with the Kevin Bacon shit, man, come on now. That shit is fucking hilarious. Are you kidding me? Seriously. You know, I'm telling you right now, that was not Chloe Zhao that fucking decided to put Kevin Bacon in that bitch.
Most definitely, yeah, that wasn't. Was there anything that stuck out to you that you really liked about it? Was there anything that you found funny? Was there anything that you thought that just looks like maybe you noticed that somebody else didn't notice?
Well, I mean, the Kevin Bacon thing is just gold. It's just gold. I mean, it's gold. You know, it's that simple. I don't know how else to explain it. It's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. It literally is. It just kills it. He's, you know, and the fact they did that is awesome. But no, I mean, look, it's short. It's only like a minute and 13 seconds long, if that. You know, I mean, Nebula, right? She only has like one line, but like her fucking like disdain towards Christmas and shit and whatnot, right? Is just typical Nebula, but funny, right? Like Nebula has evolved to where like she can be an asshole, but she's hubris. You know, she is at times, right? She's really lightened up over time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, you know, her character. Nobody ever talks about that really that much, you know, about the fact that she's evolved a lot. You know what I mean? She really has, you know? You know, we spent so much time, like, you know, talking about Loki, you know, and whatnot, and his journey, right? You know, his path, right? You know, the Loki series and whatnot, his variant, and what the variant experienced, right? What that he went through, you know, and what that was like. Another like path of Loki, right? Another change, another evolution. And like with Nebula, like literally from film to film to film, she's just been slowly changing. You know, it's never been a consistent character at all. That's the same, consistently frozen, like concrete, locked in. And you've seen it from film to film to film. If you really pay attention, you have. You know, to where she's at now, to where I think it's like a combination of, again, loving Nebula as like an original Guardians character. Then on top of that, the actress just getting better in general and getting better at playing Nebula over time, right? Getting better at playing that character, you know, to where like at that point, she probably has something to do with that sort of hubristic attitude that she has, where she says like, you know, negative shit, but it's comedic in a way. It's lighthearted in a way, you know? I love Nebula. I do. She's great in that trailer.
100% agree. Yeah, Karen Gillian has been awesome as Nebula. You know, these 9 years now going on. Next year will be 9 years since the first Guardians came out. And they've been fantastic. I love her evolution, what she's gone from that to the beginning in 2014 to now. She's been just phenomenal. And like you said, she's got that great, you know, hubris type of humor where it's supposed to be very like dickish and selfish and, you know, very robotic, positronic brain type of feeling. But yet there's that humor in it that just is put to play by Karen. She just does a great job with it and just gives us a great impression of who Nebula is. And it's just been fun to watch her evolve. I mean, especially if you were to compare her in Endgame to, you know, in the first Guardians, how much she changed just in those 4 films. It's been such a great ride, and she's so much fun. So I definitely agree there. Going around the table, what would you give the trailer a rating? 1 to 10, starting with you, Stacy.
I would give it a 10. Marvel's been doing so good on evolving the secondary characters. Like you said, I mean, from Black Widow to her sister, from Thor to Loki. We'll never know. We'll probably see Loki back again. You know, we never knew what happened to him. And for some reason, I think he has like 9 lives. He probably doesn't know that he does have those lives. So, um, I just give it a 10 because these characters are so phenomenal and they're able to come back, and it's not dry. It's bringing something to the table. And like you said, that character, she's kind of you didn't expect her to be anything. You expect her to die after that whole thing, and then when she comes back, she's coming back evolving. So that's what I like about you know these things. I wouldn't be surprised if Groot started evolving with his trees and now finally says more than just Groot. So yeah, I give it a 10.
Nice, awesome. I also give it a 10. I think it was a very great trailer. I especially loved right at the end when it shows introducing Kevin Bacon. That was priceless, and I think perfection to this little trailer. And from the get-go of Kraglin, saying that we're close to Christmas, and then to them saying, Kevin Baker, come with us as a present, that's perfection. And it just looks so freaking fun. I'm looking so much forward to this. It's going to be so great. So I give it a solid 10 too, because it looks like it's going to be a masterpiece of a special, just like Werewolf by Night was. Because I feel after getting She-Hulk, there was a lot of downs to She-Hulk. There was some goods, but then there was a lot of downs. Okay, it's Jar Jar's reaction to She-Hulk. Okay. So Werewolf by Night has really reinvigorated my love for Marvel again, and I have a feeling this Guardians of the Galaxy special is going to do the same. It's so freaking good. So yeah, giant 10. Jeff, your rating, sir, Mr. Jar Jar.
I'll tell you, anything with Jar Jar is fucking awesome. It really is. Just talk about gold. Jar Jar's gold, baby. He's gold. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. Jar Jar, right, by himself in a fucking room, just talking gibberish for an hour, right, would be better, more positive than She-Hulk, the Disney Plus series. Seriously, I'm telling you, only She-Hulk Disney Plus series makes Jar Jar okay, right? So hey, She-Hulk is good for Jar Jar at the end of the day. But no, I'd give up. These are a solid 27.5, right? Just because it was only a minute long, no action at all, and Rocket didn't even talk or have a line or do anything, right? So I love Rocket. So and also I don't want to see Star-Lord just like crying and shit the whole time, right? That's his whole role in the special, is him crying over Gamora. That doesn't do anything for me. So I hope that that's not legitimately going to be, the deal or whatever. I'm sure it won't be, right? But still, seriously, come on now, give fucking Star-Lord a spine, man. You know what I'm saying? He can go bang some other alien chicks. So he'll be all right. But no, yeah. Honestly, I am looking forward to watching it. And I think that considering what we have to look forward to in terms of what's really coming from the MCU and from Marvel Studios in that 6 months, it's going to be really, really solid timing for that special to come out. People are going to want some Marvel shit, some Marvel content. They are. And having the Guardians served up and whatnot and shit is going to really hit that spot, I think. Right? Yeah. I mean, think about it. Why not?
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. It'll be so much fun to watch it in the next couple of weeks. So it's gonna be great. Yeah. It's gonna be so much fun because then after that is the last of Marvel for this year. Besides Wakanda comes out before that does, but that'll be the last thing of Marvel for the year. And then we gotta wait till Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumanium, which is in February. Which at least it's in February, and then after that we'll get Guardians Volume 3. And then later on that year, we'll get another one, and that's it for this year, or next year, I should say. Unfortunately, Blade has been pushed So we won't be getting Blade this next year. We'll be getting it in 2024. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to checking it out too as well. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be awesome and enjoyable. All right, guys. So that is the end of this podcast for tonight. We'll send us off with plugs. Stacy, if you'd like to plug your Some Real Shit podcast, please.
Well, I'm Stacy Radcliffe, and I am on Some Real Shit podcast. I will be on YouTube, still working on it, but I am on Apple. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Podchaser. I'm on all platforms, and so that's it. Just check out me and my interviews and my life journey as an entrepreneur and growth and all that needs to grow. That's me.
Awesome, thank you. So yeah, definitely check that out, people. Look for that Some Real Shit podcast, and listen. I heard Stacey's got some really cool stuff going on, so yeah, definitely check that out.
Thank you.
All right. And of course, if you enjoy my moderating here, or if you enjoy me here on the MCU's Bleeding Edge, you can definitely check out my solo content as well. You can find me under Cyberneticshark as usual on YouTube, TikTok, Rizzle, Instagram, Facebook, any social media platform you'll find me. If you just look up Cyberneticshark, you'll find me. My main platform, of course, is YouTube. That's where I do most of my videos. I do shorts on there. I do my reviews, unboxings, all that kind of good stuff. So definitely check me out there. I'm getting close to that 500 mark. So anybody that wants to subscribe, please subscribe to help me get to that 500 mark. And then hopefully it'll be easy peasy, Japanesey after that to move on up in the YouTube world. And if you like my stuff, definitely check that out as well. And of course, my great co-host here, Mr. Jeff S. TrueKnowledge. Is there anything you'd like to say before we bow out, sir?
Yeah, fucking A, people. Get Cyber over 500 subscribers, bitch. You know what I'm saying? He deserves that shit. Seriously, come on now. Don't even play. You know what I'm saying? Cyber will play, man. You know what I mean? He's legit as fuck, so you need to be legit, right? And get him over that 500 mark, all right? He deserves it. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to fucking if you're going to hang out and chill and shit and whatnot, right? And enjoy the bleeding edge and shit, then you need to to pay it forward, baby. Right? We need some reciprocation. So look, at the end of the day, I want to see subscribers over 500 with Cyber real quick, right? I want this shit to happen before my irreversible erectile dysfunction is cured, right? I do.
Well, you got one subscriber from me.
There you go. Yep. That's right. And I just want to shout out Wakanda, and Black Panther 2, Wakanda Forever. I do. I want to shout out Jar Jar Binks, for being awesome, my hero. Rachel Dolezal, also my hero. And also, if they want to decide to pop the Silver Surfer in that Guardians of the Galaxy special, that shit would be dope. I'd like that, right? They got to do Dr. Doom and Black Panther 2. They have to. If they want to drop Silver Surfer real quick in that Guardians, or maybe Adam Warlock finally, that would be dope. I'd like that. That'd be cool. That would be really hot if they did that. I mean, shit, we're not getting much Marvel from that 6 months. They should do something, Seriously. I don't want to see fucking Squirrel Girl or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I want some real shit.
It'll be 2 months, sir. It'll be 2 months that we're
Marvel. I'm kidding. No, but hey, Andor's cool as shit. It's fun so far and whatnot. It's been great. It's dope. Looks like it's gonna be great the whole way. Love to sell Skarsgård in the series. Can't wait. He's only gonna make it better, right? I mean, it can only get better with Stellan Skarsgård and whatnot. That's how it is. It can't get worse. Unless they drop Jar Jar in that bitch for a minute. You never know what can happen then. He can fuck shit up quick. Did you imagine if Jar Jar talked a little bit on Snapchat and how that would go? That'd be interesting. I'm telling you right now. But either way, besides that, folks, hey, shout out to everybody out there and whatnot, the fandom. What's up, MCU Marvel fandom? Hey, look, let's move past She-Hulk, baby. World Fight Night was killer. That shit was dope. It was awesome. It sucks that Blade is fucked up, but you know what? It'll be all right. It'll work out. Mahershala Ali will get that shit straight. He will. I believe in him. I do. He's gonna come in. He's gonna come strong and shit like The Rock with Black Adam and shit and come through. He is. Make sure shit is straight and give us a good blade. You know, so just be patient because I think by the time we get it, it's gonna be dope. It's gonna be solid. I don't think he's gonna make a bad Blade film. I don't believe it at all. I don't think it's possible. That's a great character. It is a great addition to the MCU to get Blade in. It's really big. I don't think people even realize the significance of it. It's big. It's a big game changer. Like getting the Dark Knight or the Black Knight eventually. That's gonna be awesome. That's gonna be big. But that's it pretty much, folks. You know, hey, let's get the 5,000 subs. What's up? You know, get Cyber over 500, and then and then work on the 5,000 for us, okay? And on top of that, give Stacy hella love, right? Give her hella love for handling her business, doing these annual reviews with us and whatnot, right? And being an awesome person, a good friend, good person, good people, right? And at the end of the day, handle her business and humble, right? Wants to learn, great content creator, great attitude, great reasons to do it and shit, great intentions, all good, baby. Good guest, handle your business, get after it. It's a real shit podcast, baby. Among many other things that are going to be coming from Stacy down the road. Wonderful content creator, good person. Hats off to you, Stacy. Thank you very much. Peace out, folks.
Thank you.
Have a great night, folks.
Good night.
Fuck you, She-Hulk. Fuck you. Fuck She-Hulk. Telling you right now. Fuck you, Jessica fucking Gao. You bitch. I apologize, Jessica. I didn't mean that. That was not me. It was Jar Jar. See? It was not me. It was Jar Jar. Fucking Jar Jar. I'm sorry, Jessica. You know Jar Jar is. Come on now. I'm telling you, Cyber. This is I want to put together an outro similar to the intro, so
well, I'll give this little cookie an hour before we're doing the no pants dance. Time to musk up. Wow. Never ceases to amaze me.
It's going down. It's going down, down. It's going down.